Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. It's time for our first discussion of the morning. And as this year marks the 75th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Australia and Indonesia, the AI initiative stands as a beacon of innovation and collaboration. It symbolizes the commitment of both countries to not only celebrate their shared history, but also to embrace the future together.
Yes, that's right. Through the power of AI, Indonesia and Australia are creating new pathways for understanding, cooperation, and prosperity. One of these initiatives comes from Fahd Pahdepie, Futuries AI founder, who penetrates this collaboration through AI. Very interesting.
Yes, indeed. And he is joining us in the studio this morning. Good morning, Fahd. Thank you for being here today.
Paul, Ayn.
Yes.
Morning.
Good to have you here.
Yes, great to have you. So let's all first start off by talking about Futuries AI. Can you elaborate a little bit more about this initiative and what motivated you to first establish it?
Yeah, Futuries AI itself is a website actually.
Yes.
Create a simple platform to share stories. But the unique side of this platform, the stories are uploaded there are AI generated or AI enabled stories. We encourage people, actually we educate them how to prompt using AI, how to write stories using AI. We held a series of online workshop. We invited speakers from, the technologists, AI experts, academics, diplomats, etc., to share their perspective about what will happen in the near future regarding AI, regarding the future of diplomacy, things like that. And then we educate people, we educate the participants to prompt, to understanding the international landscape, the relationship between Indonesia and Australia, and start write stories helped by AI. And
Future and Stories, you mentioned.
Future and Stories, Futuries. And then after that, they upload it into the website, so that's it.
Okay, so it's simply, we're looking at it right now. I'm sure you have it there as well, Alan. You can submit article.
Yes.
And I'm looking at one of them right now, basically, for example, down under the archipelago and Indonesia-Australia adventure. So this article is actually written with the help of AI.
Yes, yes.
Wow, okay.
The idea was, Indonesia and Australia are neighbor. We are very close in terms of geographically we are very close, but sometimes making friends with neighbors sometimes a little bit tricky. Friends is something that we choose. Maybe many people have experiences. They may study in Australia, they may travel to Australia. The same, either way, Australian people also maybe holiday in Bali, go to Indonesia for business trip, things like that. But, this kind of experiences actually very important, to strengthen the bond between two nations. But, to write it into story, so people can read it, or even now maybe film it and then make it into other production, sometimes not that easy. So with the help of AI, now everything is easier.
So it's basically
something new, right?
Right, and not everyone gets the opportunity to go to school in Australia from Indonesia, or vice versa. Not every Australian gets to travel to Indonesia for holidays. And this is, I guess, a way to do that virtually as well, to share their experience.
Yes, to get closer to Australia as well. And how can we participate and optimize the use of Futuries.ai?
Now we are conducting 2 online workshops.
Yes.
It started yesterday, the first one. So we invited, one AI innovation, AI strategy and innovation expert. So from Griffith University, Professor Dian Chodronegoro, he is very expert in this area. So we listen to his perspective about AI, and then when I listened to his lecture yesterday, to his presentation, the future is very near. AI is not, in the far future. So it's now, and the change is happening. As well as yesterday, we invited Kat Grayley, music producer from Australia. We invited also Professor Faris Alfadat from Indonesia. we talk about this area and then we educate participants, to understand how to use AI, in this landscape. And then, the second day of this online workshop is today. Maybe, the viewers now can participate as well by, by visiting our website, Futuries.ai. There are some topics, for today's workshop. So we will learn about how to prompt, how to use ChatGPT model, for storytelling, things like that.
Okay, and speaking of Futuries.ai, then your platform actually uses a very well-known AI application, which is ChatGPT. Can you tell us a little bit about the integration of GPT in Futuries?
Yeah, in the future, we are planning, to have like user-generated content website, so people can log in and then write the article inside the website, and then play around with ChatGPT features, regarding the text, regarding the images, and then they can upload. The idea actually not in the technology itself, because I believe that AI is, the development of AI is already there. Many companies doing this.
Sure.
But this platform or this initiative, try to encourage people to tell stories. So actually, the emphasis is on the storytelling side, is on the the spreading of stories to strengthen the relationship, the friendship between two nations.
What sort of stories are we talking about? Could you give us a few of the examples of what has been done?
We have many stories actually, based on our experience.
Okay.
For example, I graduated from Australian University, and then I had many experiences back then. But in terms of maybe I don't have time, to write all the stories.
Sure.
But I can tell ChatGPT, this is the highlight of my story. Please write a short story in 100 words, so people can read the story. Maybe you have traveled to Australia, you can tell this kind of prompting to ChatGPT and turn into real story.
Very interesting.
I'm amazed what technology can do these days.
It makes us easier to tell the
easy.
story,
Of course.
and also we hope like we can engage more participation, right?
Sure.
And how do you think that the potential benefits of the joint AI for public diplomacy, just like what you have explored?
I think this initiative still in the very beginning, in the very early stage. Because we want to start with something simple. ChatGPT is everyday AI actually. People use it. Even you don't need to be you don't need to be expert in technology to use it. You can be a student. You can be teacher, lecturer, professional. You can use this technology and then play around this. Even we stated that. We state that this initiative is for fun. For example, if the participant has friend from Australia, and then we want to make story together, using our character, Fahd and Aline, for example, having fun in Melbourne, and we ask AI to create this story, and this is another side of another beauty of how AI can do this kind of things. But in terms of public diplomacy, many things will happen actually in the near future. For example, if we see many international events, for example, with all the formalities, like what happened in UN, what happened in like ASEAN summit. Now we still have interpreter, for example.
Right.
Later on with AI technology, maybe interpreter will be diminished,
Yes.
and we will use the device that not biased, to interpret any language into any language. Like, for example, one leader can speak in, for example, African language and translate it into Indonesian language.
In real time.
Without bias, in real time.
Wow.
So it's very near, actually, something like that. So, public diplomacy with AI is inevitable, in my opinion.
Okay, but in this case, AI, it's not very common for everyone to use it yet. Well, a lot of people in our office are familiar with using ChatGPT and applications of that sort. There needs to be a broader implementation and broader knowledge. So what strategies are being used by Futuries AI to ensure that there's more broad public participation in regards to using platforms such as this in order to, especially to drive more diplomacy between
Actually, if AI experts, see this platform or see this initiative, they will say that this is very simple or maybe too simple. But that's the point. I want to educate, or I want to tell as many people as I can that AI is every day, and it's very easy
for everyone.
Actually, and for everyone.
Right.
So this is not complicated things. We can play around with this. We don't need to feel worry. We don't need to fear about this technology.
It is intimidating, isn't it, at first?
Yeah,
like, first time I ever tried ChatGPT, I was worried, like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But then once I started experimenting and playing around,
I was having conversation with my friend. Fear actually is manifestation of, the actual condition that we don't know the thing.
The unknown.
Because
correct.
we don't know, because we don't have enough knowledge about things, so fear coming.
Of course.
Yes.
So actually about anything, we fear about traveling during our time when we were kids, for example. We fear to travel to Jakarta, for example, from Bandung,
Yeah.
because we don't know Jakarta.
That's right.
But after we know Jakarta, we don't fear anymore.
Yeah.
So technology always like that. In the beginning of when printing technology was invited in Europe back then in the Middle Age, back then, people were scared. Even some authorities say that books is prohibited.
It's evil.
It's evil. Newspaper is
Right.
evil. But technology is inevitable. Computer as well. During my time when I was a kid, I remember my grandfather said that, be careful with that thing, with the computer, because they don't know, it's generational gap.
Sure.
Even smartphone, we are worried with, the advancement of smartphone in school, to our kids. But technology is inevitable, along the way we understand it, along the way we have, enough knowledge about the technology, so the fear will go on. So the same thing will happen with AI as well.
I agree.
And we
with you.
can utilize it, for example,
Yes.
for public diplomacy, just
Yeah.
like what you've done, right? So can you tell us about your long-term vision or expected impact of this initiative through the Futurist.ai?
Yeah, I try to continue, the premise that I mentioned before. In terms of humanity, in the beginning, we always fear when we don't have understanding and we don't have knowledge about it. But when we fully understand, or we understand at least, we will master it and we will use it, we will utilize it. Now we have computer everywhere. Actually, AI also everywhere. We use Google Translate.
That's right.
We use, everything is AI. So AI is very near, even AI is now. So what I'm trying to do is in terms of bilateral relationship, for example, in terms of international relations, we need to embrace it. We need to adapt, the coming of this kind of technology, because if we deny, or if we try to reject it and put it away, we are
Lagging behind, I would
we
say,
are
right?
left behind.
Yeah, indeed.
So that's the idea. Actually, this is a simple idea, but we want to bring, this hype, at least hype, because I'm not technology expert, to be honest. I'm not AI expert, but I see, there is opportunity to collaborate AI with, or technology with diplomacy, so we can try this.
I agree completely. So looking ahead, what future projects do you have in mind to help develop this initiative even more?
Yeah, actually in the beginning I was not expecting something, something big, about this project. Actually, this project was, continuation of our short course in Australia called Foreign Policy Strategic Equilibrium in Indo-Pacific. And then, there was challenge from fellow short course participants to create project. So I initiated with this at the time, because I think that there is element of fun to do diplomacy and AI, and then I was expecting very little from this initiative, but I was surprised when many experts are coming. They want to be participated in the online workshop, and then participants also who registered to us very enthusiastic. We have hundreds of participants. Yesterday workshop was hype. So I think in the future we will see that people realize that this kind of thing is something that have elements of fun and have something that we want to try. Even though after this you can open your ChatGPT and create your stories and then try to submit it, but let people know this is AI enabled,
of course.
AI help, and then we put disclaimer also in the website. So this kind of thing is inevitable.
I think so, and I think the more we embrace it, the quicker that we'll be able to assimilate it into our lives as well. And you did mention the workshop. Day 2 happens today. The topic is crafting and showcasing stories with AI. There's topics such as how technology connects us, building a shared future. We have a speaker from Director of BINUS as well, along with bridging cultural gaps between Australia and Indonesia, writing with AI, techniques and ethics, as well as effective prompting techniques for AI-enabled narratives. So plenty of topics there. In case you missed day 1, there's still plenty for you to catch up on here today as well in day 2. Fahd, thank you so much for being here today and discussing more about Futures AI.
Sure.
Yes, very interesting. Let's take another break, but we will have more updates from around Southeast Asia when we return. So stay with us on C Morning Show.